Hi there, it's Maria Luz of Maria Luz Online. I'm an astrologer, certified hypnotist, psychic medium, and you may hear my doggy with your Astro energy report for August 9th. And the energy drivers this week are Mercury makes a conjunction with Venus in Virgo. The moon makes a grand trine with Sedna in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius, and Mars makes a conjunction with Jupiter, and then the following day makes a square with Saturn. So, with that Mars activity, Mars moving into conversation with the outer planets once again, it's going to be quite active. But before that, there's some more subtle conversations that are prompted by the moon and then Mercury and Venus. So, first, Mercury and Venus. Maybe coming off of that Venus square to Uranus last week, we see that it's okay to be part of a pair or a group. That's fine and dandy, but know why you're in it and how it aligns to your values. And on the flip side, don't just rebel for the sake of rebelling because you don't need to prove anything. That's what that Venus in Leo energy square against Uranus might have shown you. And then part of the growth appears to be through sharpening our critical thinking skills, especially when it comes to relationships and resources. Venus in Virgo is not the most comfortable because Venus really wants to be an attractive force. And that's just not Virgo's top mode of working. So that means there's some adaptation happening with Venus in that sign. And Mercury, now retrograde in Virgo, on the other hand, is in a sign it rules. And its superpower in Virgo is this critical thinking and discernment in order to get as close to the divine as possible. Remember, Virgo is on that axis with Pisces, and it knows that there's something bigger. There is a divine. And so, especially when Mercury is in this mode, this revisit, review, reassess, redo if needed, there's not a whole lot of tolerance for, say, sloppy friends or coworkers or partners. So the gold comes in combining these energies of Venus and Mercury in this sign. So it's an opportunity to be kind in thoughts and words with each other as we acknowledge those daily acts of service. That's the Virgo piece, and what we're constructing together. And as a bonus, maybe weaving in an activity that serves your health, also Virgo, with a friend, like an accountability partner, maybe for something that you want to do to improve your health or well being. And now for the moon. The moon moves so quickly, so we don't often focus into specific aspects that it makes. But this grand air trine with the heavy hitters Pluto and Sedna really struck me this week. For one, it falls in the middle of fire season, and we are all either, like I said, I think last week, kind of relaxing into summer in the northern hemisphere or getting cozy in the southern hemisphere. But I think we're starting to feel a change coming as we get closer to Virgo season, which is a time of transition. The moon is also in a time of transition from the new moon phase to the waxing crescent phase. And at this time, it moves from initiation into growth or starting that planning. And so the moon picks up this power of Pluto to transform, and from Sedna, the power to use an enforced transformation to empower oneself and express a benevolence from a place of security and power. And I have a podcast episode on Sedna. So if you're not familiar with that dwarf planet and Sedna's myth and the energy, please go listen to that because I love Sedna's energy and super powerful. So I think the moon in Libra asks for an emotional balance as a source of power. What practices of thought can you empower yourself with? And especially with the US election, the media, which resides in air, will be very loud, and we will need to protect our thoughts and retain our power. And I know there's a lot of coverage about the Mars aspects to Jupiter and Saturn because, let's face it, Mars can be an instigator. And these outer planets, while, that might not exactly be their jam to roll like that, they will pick up on what is best for our highest good from that interaction with Mars and act accordingly. And the Sabian symbols for the locations where these important aspects are happening, they seem to point to an intentionality and a maturation of thought from Mars. And it builds on that moon grand trine that we just talked about. Mars shows us that where we have been taking action and participating in a lot of things, and asks us to take a look at that by checking in with Jupiter, because Jupiter is really, remember, about part of it is about truth and wisdom. So there's this conversation about what have we learned from all of that action and participation, and how have our beliefs changed, beliefs being another Jupiterian theme. So, from that place of acknowledgement of our current beliefs, the square with Saturn, Mars and Saturn, then shows a way to carve out maybe a quiet space to discuss those beliefs. I know that Mars doesn't seem quiet, but it challenges us to use those critical thinking skills that the Mercury and Venus conjunction had us kind of brush up on. And so Saturn always brings this component of time or the mature view, which is why I think Mars is maybe going to take a pause and a more serious consideration of connecting our present beliefs, coming off of that Jupiter conjunction, to our spiritual framework, which is more of the Saturn and Pisces, and whatever that might look like to you. And that is all I have for you. I hope you stay in your personal power this week, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, and please share this channel and check out my website if you'd like to have a reading or any other astrological consultation. Check the show notes for everything else that you need, and have a wonderful week.